Everyone, my name is Michael Aikens, and I'm the Director in the Office of Research and Economic Development at Tennessee Tech University, as well as the Director of our UEDA University Center, the Center for Rural Innovation. And joining with me here today is Andrea Kruszka. She's our Center's Rural Outreach Associate. And we are excited and honored to tell you all more today about our Rural Reimagined Grand Challenge, which seeks to transform rural living through science, technology, innovation, and economic development. So, first things first, what is a grand challenge? Well, a grand challenge is an idea from an institutional lens where a higher education institution can select what we call a big, hairy, audacious goal and leverage all of their assets and resources to examine and address the issues that are inherent within that goal. So, Tennessee Tech University selected rural issues for our grand challenge. So why rural? Well, Tennessee Tech is an R2 public serving institution whose primary service region is in the Upper Cumberland region of Middle Tennessee. Within that region, it's a completely rural area, and we have 4 distressed counties and 9 at-risk counties, all within 80 miles of our university. So not only do we have our work cut out for us, it's right in our backyard, and it's the right thing to do. So Andrea, tell us a little bit about how we got here.
Thanks, Michael. So in 2017, when we were awarded our University Center for Rural Innovation, we had 7 distressed counties within our service region. That's 30% of the counties we have. We knew we had to get to work and we had to do it fast. So we started meeting with government officials and agencies, community and business leaders, entrepreneurs, chambers of commerce, really anyone who would talk to us and give us the time of day. The first thing we realized was that our students were our greatest asset because they all were learning lots of things in their classes that they could put into action with these small businesses and organizations. And that was fantastic news for us because there's 12,000 of them at Tennessee Tech. But it was 2 of us running everything. So we were a little stressed out for a while. But then President Oldham, the president of the university, called on the university to come up with a grand challenge. So it was pretty clear it should be something rural. Rural Reimagined was born, Michael was called up to head it up, and then participation started to grow.
Well, speaking of participation, we'll talk a little bit about impact. So in just a little over 2 years, we've had all 9 colleges and schools at Tennessee Tech involved. We've got over 200 currently active rural-based projects. We've got over 100 faculty and administrators involved, and we've engaged over 1,500 students. And collectively, those students have logged over 50,000 hours of volunteer and service learning. And we've also engaged over 1,500 community members. And a big number I'd like to tell you all about today, this is hot off the presses, we just found this out. We have now reached the $4.5 million mark for awarded research grants that are specifically for rural research. But the biggest number I want to tell you all about today is 0. We have $0 of institutional funding. This thing literally has no budget, but we're making it work, and it's working extremely well. So we've got students, community members, and faculty all involved. Andrea, why don't you tell us what our students are up to?
Well, some of them are getting research opportunities from $4.5 million worth grants. We're also doing a lot of experiential learning, putting what they're learning in the classrooms right into practice, going into these communities, working with rural leaders and business leaders, entrepreneurs. They're getting academic internships, paid student work, and as Michael said, volunteer and service learning. One of our students, Kinsey Potter, was with us from the very beginning. We didn't even have the grand challenge yet, but she was working as an academic intern, found out we were doing rural, and she said, I have to get involved. She's from Jackson County, Tennessee. No one here has probably heard of it. It's very small, it's very economically distressed and very rural. So it was really important to her to start a student organization that's helping support the Grand Challenge. She's decided to continue with her schooling and she's working on her PhD now. She's our grad assistant for the Rural Reimagined Grand Challenge, as well as the student chair for the steering committee. One of the big things she does that helps us out is tell the stories about what we're doing. Laura Beth graduated in May with her graphic design degree. She partnered with Michael and I and another PhD student to help out the town of Monterey, Tennessee. Monterey came to us saying, we need a tourism brand. That's one of the things we have that brings people in, but we don't know where to start. We don't have the resources to do it. So we got together with a coalition of community leaders and business owners, started working with them, taking them through the branding process. Mission, vision, value statements, developing the color palette, the elements for a logo, and then our two students pulled it all together into a great branding package, which Monterey has accepted and just embraced and loved. They've made Christmas ornaments, it's on all their city cars, it's on billboards everywhere. So our students have real world experience they can point to, and the towns are getting help they desperately need.
And Kinsey and Laura Beth are literally just two of the thousands of students that we've got involved. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we have over 100 faculty and administrators involved as well. Our faculty are physically embedding rural challenges right into their curriculum. They're also getting service credit. They're doing publications. They're doing applied research. And they're also getting the opportunity to directly collaborate with community members, which is something that faculty members typically don't get the opportunity to do. The Grand Challenge addresses and bridges that gap. Now, the most important outcomes, though, are for the community, because the Grand Challenge is for the community. As a high-level overview, some of the outcomes: our University Center provides technical assistance to over 100 entrepreneurs every year. We're also into workforce development, increasing access to capital, rural tourism branding, and much more. Now, from an institutional perspective, we're also looking at disparities in healthcare, access to mental health, agriculture innovation, historical preservation, and most recently, we're examining ways that we can increase cultural diversity and inclusion within our communities. So you might be thinking, okay, how in the world do you all do this with $0 of budget? Well, it all comes down to leadership. So the first thing that I'd like to tell you about our leadership is that our strategic plan, Tech Tomorrow, called for the development of a grand challenge that was replicable and scalable by default. Our EDA University Center operationalizes and manages the entire program, and we have a steering committee that's made up of a highly interdisciplinary set of students and faculty that guide everything that we do. But the most important leadership aspect is working directly with community leaders and community residents. Because this is not us showing up in a rural community saying, hey, we're Tennessee Tech, we've got all the answers and we're going to solve all your problems, because that doesn't work at all. But what does work is when we listen to the community and have the leaders and the residents tell us, here's the challenges and issues that we're facing. And then we work collaboratively together to figure out how we can all, together as a team, address these issues and ultimately solve them. And of course, we're not doing this alone. Over the past 2 years, we've developed numerous strategic partnerships from the federal, state, and local level. A few examples of federal and national partners are, of course, the EDA. We also have USDA on board, Nissan, and many others. From the state level, we're working with the state departments of agriculture, tourism, economic and community development, state parks, and many, many more. But our most important partners are our local partners. They're the ones that help us get this thing done. For example, we're working daily with our development district, our human resources agency, our local PBS affiliate, and numerous entrepreneurs across the region who want to seek and affect real change in our rural area. And this is just a small sampling of the strategic partners that we've been able to forge over the past 2 years. And the final thing that I want to tell you all about today, our Grand Challenge is unique, scalable, and replicable by default. It's unique because we're not aware of any other university or higher education institution that has taken on an institution-wide Grand Challenge that seeks to address rural issues. If you all are out there or you know of anybody, we would love to talk to them. But so far, we haven't found anyone. In terms of scalability, so I told you all earlier, we started out in Upper Cumberland. That's still our primary service area. But as you can see in the purple highlighted counties, that is 44 of the state's 95 counties that we have an active presence in. So it is scaling every day. And then finally, this thing is replicable. We have practitioner models of how to do this that we can hand you right now as we speak. And most recently, we're working on research that's actually going to help us develop leadership models. So with that said, 12 minutes is not nearly long enough to talk about all the amazing things that the Grand Challenge has done. I don't think that we could do it even in 12 hours. So I'm sure that all of you all have plenty of questions, and we'd love to take those from you now. And breathe.
So we have 5 minutes of questions. Any questions for them?
You mentioned no budget, but what, 1 to 5 million or something, where does the investment come from?
Right, so the investment comes from our grant agency. So for example, our Center for Rural Innovation, which is an EDA university center. We have NIH funding, NSF funding. We're a big engineering school, so NSF is a common name. We're also a big nursing school as well, so NIH. And then we have, quite frankly, we have a lot of smaller grant agencies, so private agencies or Appalachian Regional Commission, for example. And what we're doing is actually we're engaging our faculty. We actually have a call from our president to double our research expenditures over the next 5 years. And a part of doing that is helping our faculty to understand that a $35,000 grant is okay. Go out and get it. You don't have to go out and get that $3.5 million grant. Or go partner with another school and go after that $3.5 million. So while we don't have specifically institutional funding, we're going out and we're finding that funding. So to operationalize this thing, it requires our university center, and that's where we get our funding. But there is zero state dollars, institutional dollars, or anything else. Yes.
Question about your partnership. How did you cultivate those partners, and what is the reciprocity? What is the give and take between the partners? Your expectations
Right.
and theirs?
That's a great question. So we started out with, we already had an established network of partners. So Andrea and I, we also do innovation and entrepreneurship. So we're literally partnered at the hip with our SBDC, our local accelerator, development district, local PBS station. So basically we just started leveraging who we already knew. And to be honest with you, the way that these partnerships have been forged is word of mouth. Everybody wants to get involved because, like I said, this is the right thing to do. It's a feel-good story, but even more than feel-good, we're actually making measurable, actual differences in our community, and everybody wants to be a part of it. So all we got to do is pick up the phone, send an email, go to a conference, talk to somebody. And you know what's crazy too? This $4.5 million that we've gotten. The first year we were right around the $1 million mark. The rest of the $3.5 million basically came in 2021. Through the pandemic, we literally tripled our funding from a research grant perspective. And so the reciprocity, honestly, every one of our partners, they're not looking for recognition. You know, it's a feel-good story, they want to be a part of it, but the recognition comes. And what they really want to do is they truly want to help because our region is so distressed, so rural, that they have the resources and capabilities to be able to help in one way. And we get calls and emails all the time. We've heard about this, we'd love to get involved. How do we get involved? And quite frankly, our students are going out there too. Our students are saying, hey, I'm involved in this club, or I'm involved in whatever, right? And then so it just, it's really a momentum, it's a flywheel effect. So once it starts going, it's going bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can't wait to maybe come back and tell you all at a different presentation what we're doing in 5 years, because this is not going away. And the final thing that I'd say about that too is, like I said, this is replicable. We want to help other institutions install a grand challenge. Let us know how we can help you all do the same thing. We'd love to be a part of this because everything that we do is for the public good, because it's the right thing to do. We open source everything. We have so many resources for faculty, community, and staff on our website. We're doing bibliographies, we're doing research, we're doing publications. It's all there. We want to help anybody that wants to help. We can get them started.
What was the timeline from like that call out there and then the stages that you went through to get to this point?
Right, so I'll address that really quickly. So 2017, we authored our new 5-year strategic plan called Tech Tomorrow, which did call for the creation of the Grand Challenge. I actually led, among many other things that we do, I led the implementation of said strategic plan. So we authored that in 2017. 2018, we developed what the Grand Challenge would be. And then spring of 2019, actually March of 2019, our president made a formal announcement. Summer, we worked on our Grand Challenge. So we got our students together, we got our faculty, our steering committee, got all that together, brainstormed what this would be. And then fall 2019, we formally launched, and we started putting marketing out. Like we talked about Kinsey, she's has a communications degree. So she wrote all of our stories. And then one thing that we find that's helping really well is faculty love to get recognition because we're building this into service. So what we're actually able to do is the faculty are finding out, like, oh, I do something for rural, they'll write about me. Oh, I can get grants. Oh, they have resources. They have literally annotated bibliographies that I can pull. Oh, there's a fly. That I can pull. He's so excited about Grand Challenge, he wants to help. That they can pull all these resources together that helps increase and improve their opportunities. So I guess that's our time. We're Tennessee Tech. Thank you.